Hello everyone, and after quite a long time of waiting, we finally received the first part of episode 14 of Skibidi Saga by Maxedy. And in case you don't remember, before that we were granted the longest episode in Skibidi Saga history, where we were revealed the whole story of Skibidi Scientist back when he was human, how cameramen and speakermen appeared in the first place, and which company was responsible for it. But most importantly, we also learnt the whole story of Astro Toilets and why they observed the scientist all those years in order to add his genius mind to their army. And I also explained it to you in my previous analysis of Maxedy, how the horrible passing of the entire scientist's family could simply be staged by Astro Toilets, so they could convince him even more that it's the robots who are evil and have to be dealt with. But currently the scientist is in the Alliance's captivity, he realized. That he must have been fighting on the wrong side all this time, just as Jimmy. So now both the Skibidi Toilets and the Alliance's forces are ready to unite and face Astro Faction face to face. And now when your mind has been refreshed, let's move on to episode 14 and what happened in it. And if you want to learn all the details and secrets that I've found in it, then get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end because it's going to be a blast. And let's go. And also be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you're interested to see more cool analyses of different Skibidi multiverses. Okay, so if you're subscribed now, let's continue. So the first part of episode 14 starts on the Speakerman's base, Florida, where we're also given hints that the Speakerman's armada is in the process of being prepared, including the upgrades for Titan Speakerman. And it's quite funny to me how Maxedy overran Boom once again in terms of Skibidi plot. Previously, he was the first one to guess Titan G-Man's concept, and now he will most likely to be the one to make the Speakerman's armada into the series, and Boom will only follow him a month later, I think. So we will see Maxedy's variation of this race's upgrades at first, and I am really all for it. Okay, but before that, we hear a very interesting conversation between two cameramen. So the regular cameraman asks what exactly are they even doing at the Speakerman's base, to which his large brother answers, seeking refuge, of course. And while the big cameraman sounds chill enough, his little bro is actually furious, so he yells how he wants to end the lives of everyone here. The big cameraman tries to reason him and says that even though it's a valid thing to be pissed at the Speakerman, one still should not let his hate flow overwise. It may lead to a literal civil war within the Alliance, and it's the last thing they all need. The situation involving Astro Toilets and their raids is already tough enough, so why add even more problems to it? And in case you forgot what is the origin of this entire beef between speakermen and cameramen, here's a little reminder to y'all. So the cameramen were really seeking revenge for their Titan cameraman who was destroyed due to the Skibidi Scientists and G-Man's actions, or the leaders of the Skibidi army. So both cameramen and TV men united and raided the main Skibidi base to avenge their fallen Titan, while speakermen actually preferred to stay aside just as cassettemen. And even though we learnt in the end how it was kind of a reasonable move after all, and even G-Man eventually got united with the Alliance, the cameramen still are pretty much bitter at the whole thing, and I can understand their feelings. Okay, and then we hear a side conversation from a random speakerman and a cassetteman who were discussing how the cameramen's scientific team suddenly began producing more insane technologies. So the furious cameraman cuts their talk and demands those dudes to explain what exactly they were doing during the time when the cameramans were dying at the literal war. And I must tell you that it was quite a nasty move from the start, because how those two random dudes can be responsible for their entire nations and all that. So it's no wonder how the situation started getting more heat at this second. Although the cassetteman immediately realized where all of this was going and just left, I must give him that. But the speakerman stayed and continued this confrontation. He snarkily says that his race was working on scientific projects to ensure the Alliance's progress instead of mindless fighting, and the cameraman loses it after hearing such a condescending line. The big cameraman tries to reassure him by reminding the plungerman's entire pacifistic message, but it's too late at this point. The speakerman adds that the Alliance should have prepared instead of going into raid straight away, while the cameraman blames his race for not joining them and not helping them win. And well, the speakerman actually makes the whole confrontation even worse by saying that his race was just playing it smarter. And do you guys know how infuriating such a response can be in a real life? I would pretty much lose it too if someone would answer me in such a way, so yeah, bad choice of words, bro. And what made the whole thing even worse is that this speakerman also mentioned Titan Cameraman too, and You know that it's a really touchy topic for all cameramen. So there's no wonder to me that after those words, this cameraman pulled the infamous Will Smith move and yelled at him, "Keep Titan Cameraman's name out of your mouth." And then he punched the snarky Speakerman in the face too, which was literally unavoidable at this point. And I must say that while those two dorks were fighting, I felt the real hatred between them, which is not a good sign at all, because they're still comrades after all. But it seemed like one little quarrel was enough to send them both into rage mode. But thankfully for them, the big Speakerman managed to pull the cameraman off the Speakerman he was fighting, while the big Fred cameraman was just standing in the background doing nothing to stop this stupidity. And to add even more weight to his convincing words, the big Speakerman also said how he has enough power to crash every bone inside of the Lil cameraman's body, and he better just grow up and change his perspective on the whole thing instead. After which, little bro finally went silent, while another Speakerman was making fun of him in the distance. After that, the scene changed, and we turned out to be inside the Speakerman's facility, where both sides were discussing the means of finding the cure from the Skibidi toilet syndrome. And then we also figure out that they've got a whole volunteer for their scientific experiments, and it turns out to be no other than my favorite DJ Skibidi toilet buddy, who, as you can remember, brought enough heat during the Siberia fights and now can finally chill in silence of the Speakerman's facility while listening to his favorite music. What a life, man. Literally could be my dream job, y'all. One of the cameramen seems to be quite shocked at such a sudden mood change of DJ, although personally, I wasn't surprised at all. To which DJ answers that he didn't have much freedom to make his own decisions under G Toilet's management, which means that he probably didn't enjoy fighting enemies in the first place. Instead, he just wants this whole conflict to end already and finally chill and relax. And it's a good thing that the Alliance must finally be on its way to such a nice goal. Okay, and after the meeting with DJ, the cameraman also spots the separated head of another Skibidi toilet being displayed like a literal object for the gallery or something. So of course our guy gets pretty much jump scared by it, or maybe it's a whole parasite out there. Because those little red leg-like stuff behind the toilet's neck sure looks like it to me, but on the other hand, I cannot really remember how the Alliance would encounter at least one of those parasites in earlier episodes. But whatever this creature actually was, one of the Speakermen describes it as pretty odd that these things even exist, right? But he could as well refer to it as a Skibidi toilet, because once again we are seeing the laboratory about finding a cure from the Skibidi syndrome exactly. Okay, and after this observation, the cameraman asks the Speakerman what the rest of their race is doing, while their scientists are busy with studying the biology of Skibidi toilets. And oh boy, that's where it gets interesting. Because the Speakerman answers him that they have been expanding their military, and then we are getting shown an actual Speakerman's armada. And oh boy, that's what I've been waiting for literal centuries at this point. Because the original Skibidi Toilet series teased their armada for so long, I already lost count how many days have passed since I expected to see them on the big screen. But thankfully, we are getting the real chance to see them in Maxedy's multiverse at least. And we can see that there are some massive work going on. And whatever Maxedy's armada will come up with in the next episode, it's definitely going to be epic. And of course I'm putting my biggest hopes on Titan Speakerman and his upgrades. And of course, this cameraman is literally reading my mind as he immediately asks to take a glimpse at the big red guy. To which one of the Speakermen answers that their Titan is meditating now and doesn't want to see any visitors coming. And I actually chuckled when I imagined Titan Speakerman opening some chakras isolated from the entire world and any intrusive thoughts regarding Titan Cameraman. That might actually be some really solid strategy, y'all. But of course, Maxedy couldn't just leave up hanging. And we still got a glimpse of the upgraded Titan Speakerman silhouette at the end of this episode. But before that, we can suddenly hear the base's alarm going off, while another Speakerman said the following words with the destroyed device in his hand: "A tracking device has been found attached to one of their transports." So apparently the Speakerman's entire base has been exposed, just as TV Men's base in full episode 77 of Boom's original series. And do you know what that means, my friends? That we are basically seeing an epic battle involving the Speakerman's Armada and Titan Speakerman right in the second part of episode 14. And to be honest with you guys, I really cannot wait to actually see that madness. Meanwhile, the whole base shuts down immediately and even gets a whole freaking protective dome over it, which is really cool to see. These guys really prepared some good stuff while the rest of the Alliance were fighting in Siberia, huh? And that also means that the second part of this episode is about to look really incredible. And at the end of this episode, we also see the appearance of Astro Toilets who are about to attack the base. And one of them asks the UFO toilet, "Sir, should we summon the Eclipsion?" And whatever the hell this is, it's about to be some big, Astro Toilet to oppose the Armada, I'm sure of it. To which the UFO toilet says that G-Toilet, aka their former commander, can actually be found here. So they must attack the base immediately. And then the whole freaking Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2 scene starts happening, where all the Astro Toilets start blasting their missiles through the protective dome over the Speakerman's base. And the poor guys don't even know how they are about to get jumped with our big red boy whose meditation was cut off so rudely. The fate of the entire Alliance rests on his shoulders now. And that's getting me even more hyped I'm already is. And that was all for today. Don't forget to write in the comments below about what do you think will happen in the future episodes of this series. And be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel not to miss my new cool videos. And it was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!